No one ever said how scary this would be, podcasting.
Remember when we did this and you just laughed the whole time?
Like legitimately 35 minutes, I think it was. Because I remember like looking at the clock and be like, I am still going.
My yeah, I'm actually, believe it or not, that podcast I'm redoing. I'm redoing the entire thing.
Like, what do you mean?
I'm gonna set it up like a scripted show.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like you're redoing that interview.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna hire somebody else. I'm gonna hire an actor for it.
To read my lines like exactly how I delivered them, but better.
Yeah, I mean
You're
I
like,
am.
you're just like, yeah, you weren't in character enough.
I mean, could you imagine?
It's like
You just
Nathan
wake up
Fielder.
one day, I'm like viral for like redoing your interview.
A hired actor to play me in a podcast as myself. That's literally, did you see the rehearsal from Nathan Fielder?
No, we were gonna watch that next.
Yeah, you probably should. If you like The Curse, you probably like that. It's different. It's not like a full scripted drama. It's like a weird blend of reality and script, I would say.
Right.
But that is straight out of the rehearsal. That's something he would do.
I I I actually prepare. Well, I didn't prepare for this pod, but I prepared by watching some um interviews with Benny Safdie and the other cast from the show. Like
Oh
when they
my
just did like
God.
live Q&As or whatever.
I didn't know we could do that.
Well, no, I was just like watching. I After I finished The Curse, I was just watching them
Uh-huh.
talk about it.
Yeah, so now
And
you're gonna position yourself to be the smart one.
right, yeah.
I'm gonna be like, I thought it was actually really meaningful. And you're gonna be like, actually no, because in this interview that I watched, like they said the exact opposite, which means you didn't understand this at all.
Actually, media is just supposed to be consumed by the person and they just make up their own mind. Thank you.
Actually, yeah, can we end the podcast right there? Like we got straight to the bottom of it.
Well, no, they why the reason why I was bringing that up is because Benny Safdie said that well, he actually wrote, did you know that Benny Safdie wrote an article about Nathan Fielder in 2016 for a
Really?
magazine?
No, obviously I didn't. I have no idea when Benny Safdie became famous. I don't know what his trajectory was.
Well, I didn't know this either, but I just like found it out because he was talking about it and somebody asked during like a Q and A. And the reason why I was bringing that up is because he actually brought up how it's actually about realism and how they blend, how Nathan Fielder uses realism in like a certain way, and then the Safdie brothers use it in their own way in their stuff. Like he says, like Nathan Fielder kind of does this thing where they take real situations and kind of like almost make them seem fake in his show, whereas the Safdie brothers try to take fake situations and make them seem real or feel real.
I see that. They
And
they
he
they
was
blend they blend together a lot, to be honest. Like obviously, like it showed in the show.
Yeah,
But that was a really good pairing. Like, and they're both also masters of cringe, but in like two
I mean
completely different ways.
literally.
Whereas like I feel like the Safdies focus on like making you feel it, with like what
True.
was it, Uncut Gems or whatever, like you're in the moment, and then Nathan's just, creating a spectacle of it.
Yeah, they've I don't know. This show was like wild, and when I was like watching these Q&As and they were like, talking about it, I don't like the stuff that like went into making the show was pretty nuts.
Well, I want to know how they filmed episode 10, which by the way, I don't know if there's going to be a designated spoiler alert. I don't know if we should just dive right in, but
Should we spoil it? Should we wait, do
should we
people
be
even know who
bad?
we are? Should we talk about
I was
ourselves?
gonna say that, and then I was gonna be like, maybe I should just say it later, and then we can, then you can edit it in earlier or something. I don't know, but yeah, let's just introduce ourselves. That's what everyone's here for.
Well, who are you? I'm joking.
Oh my God, me first. Shit. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Um, Wait, what got you into movies?
Oh my God, I don't know. They're like what got me into one of the most consumed like forms of media of all time.
Well, what got you into like wanting to like write about movies? Because you were a film critic professionally.
Yeah.
Wait,
Kind
should you tell
of.
everyone how you became one like in high school and you just kind of cared
Okay,
about
I
it?
was not a professional critic. I literally had a blog in high school that I started in high school, and like some reviews were in the school newspaper, which I know, like, like that's I'm saying it like it's so casual, but it's not. Like it's such a feat. No, but I started in high school. I did it for like I through college, and I think maybe a year or so after. Um,
Right.
where I was just doing it as a blog. Then, I studied journalism in college, as one does. Uh, I worked at a newspaper or a newspaper organization, I should say, for like that was my first job out of college. And then through that, I was affiliated with like the company that I was at was affiliated with like I want to say like 30 different like hyper local papers that covered
Right.
like the Northeast region, but like in a few different states. So I kind of pitched myself as a critic to the editor. Took a little
Wait, so
bit of
you wrote to them? You
convincing.
were like, "Hey, I'm a critic."
No, no, like I
What?
worked there. Like I,
Oh,
I was an
right, right.
employee there. And I was writing like other articles and stuff. Like I had a beat, like I had a region that I covered. And then I was
Right,
like,
right.
by the way, like I'm actually a prolific critic.
Honestly.
And then and then I showed them my high school newspaper and he was like, "You did that in high school?" No, I'm just kidding. Uh, never happened. And then like I don't know. Like I was just like, "Can I
That
do
happened.
this?" I don't know. I was just like, "Can I like just do this?" And he was like, "Okay." And then like so I just started I became like, a quote unquote professional critic that I did for like 3 years. Like, I was attending, all these press screenings and stuff like that. And, I have a Twitter account with 1,000 followers that I haven't tweeted from for 3 years. So like I'm actually
Honestly,
kind of a big deal.
your your Twitter. I mean, who uses Twitter anymore? Should we just get back into that? Just randomly?
No.
No, yeah, no, no. Yeah, that would be horrible.
Yeah, and that's it. And then I stopped that. I left the newspaper job. And then I kind of had to sacrifice the critic gig uh as well. And then I don't know, like that was back in 2020, like the pandemic
Right.
hashtag changed us all. Um, and then I just never got back to it. Like I changed careers and like it kind of affected the critic thing. And also I will say like from writing reviews the way that I did, which was like I don't think it reflected in the work, but I did so much research and I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, like I would slave over like every word and then like it wouldn't even be that good in the end. And it kind of became like there was a certain point, like while I was watching a movie in a theater and I was like trying to like predict how I would write my review or like try to like get a head start in my head of writing it.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, like I'm not enjoying this thing anymore because like what used to be something fun for me has now become work. And like I can't dissociate that part of myself. So I
True,
think,
true.
like while I miss it, it was kind of like a conscious step away from it when I did change careers. Um,
Right.
it's allowed me to just like go to the movie theater again without feeling pressure to like write 600 words about it when I leave or like come up with like completely original and completely on point analysis of it that in my head no one else has discovered, but of course in reality that's not the case at all.
And it sucks now because you can't like take me to free advanced screenings,
What movies did we see?
like shitty ones. No, no, I'm just kidding. No, well, we actually didn't. We saw something good, didn't we? I mean,
I
scariest stories to tell in the dark we watched, but that was
Oh, we
horrible.
did.
Yeah,
Didn't you? I think you like reserved Tenet or something like a year in advance, and then the pandemic happened.
right.
Something like that.
Terrible.
Oh, wait, was it Dunkirk? We didn't see Dunkirk though. I don't know.
Yeah, we saw something good that we like. Wait, no, didn't we watch Joker in the theaters
Were you
when that
there?
came out?
Was that you?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, so it was Joker
It
then.
actually might have been Parasite. I'm pretty sure we saw Parasite in the theater together.
We saw it in theaters together. I thought it wasn't a critic screening, but now I'm reevaluating, so maybe you're right.
Right. Well, you're a former critic anyway,
That's how
so
I self-identify. Yeah. And that's my letterboxed caption. Which, by the way, like even letterbox, that's like tangible proof. Like I will give a movie a star rating, and I like once every 2 years I'll write like what I thought about it. Other than that, it's just
right.
like a star rating, and then like I have like 86 followers who are just like people who follow you
Me.
to be followed back.
I mean, literally. Um, I uh, I I think that like most people are kind of trying to lean that way, but it's probably because of like film criticism has become like filled with pretentious a-holes, in my opinion. Not you, but like the ones that write for like
You're just like
IndieWire,
calling me out. Like,
right? Like I don't know, the ones that write for like IndieWire or like Variety, they just like write these like they don't even like describe the movie correctly, and then it makes you like question it when you're actually watching the movie after if you read that first. I don't know. It's been terrible.
well, first of all, never fucking read a review before you see the movie.
Right. Well, how do you stay away from like a headline on like Instagram?
Oh, I mean, like a headline's different. Like I look at the scores. Like I look at Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb, and like maybe I'll
Right.
read like some of the headlines, and I'm like, okay, people like this, whatever.
Right.
And I
True.
don't see anything that's below 85. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be terrible and scary.
Well, I mean, The Curse is getting really bad reviews by audience members, I'm pretty sure. But then
That's
like
like
the
for the curse specifically, I was like, oh, I know it's good. Like
yeah.
after I saw that.
Because well, yeah, I don't know. I feel like people just aren't getting the humor or
Um,
anything really. The
it's
the
definitely
cringe
not it's
aspects.
definitely not what I expected it to be when I first like read about it, and I think even saw the trailer. I can't remember because
Yeah.
one of my friends was super into Nathan Fielder, like not you. So like I was talking to them,
You have
and
friends besides me.
like multiple. And I don't know. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be like a spoof of an HGTV show, is how I thought it was described. And then it
Yeah.
was just whatever the hell we just watched was. So
I mean,
kind of crazy.
literally, I feel like it evolved. Like as we like were watching it, like some episodes were like kind of leaned into like the funnier aspects, and then some episodes leaned into like more dramatic elements, you know?
Wait, are we getting into the review or are you gonna introduce yourself?
Oh, right. Well, I exist. No, I'm
Uh,
the guy that just kind of was dragged around to critic reviews by you, you know?
are
No,
you
I'm just kidding. Well,
am I
no,
the Emma Stone to your Nathan Fielder? That actually made me cringe when I said that.
I well, I don't know. I'm not good at introductions, but I like have another podcast where I talk about movies, but it's more like we kind of just like have no idea of like what we're even going to talk about, and we just like end up sitting down and just like we have like a soundboard, and it's kind of like more funny. We just kind of talk shit. It's just me and my lady, if you know what I mean.
Did you just imply that that podcast is funnier than this one? You were like,
No.
it's more funny actually
No,
than
I
this
just
one.
I meant that we just like we like I have like a sound, it's like a soundboard, and it's like we don't really have like we talked, we were like, "Oh, let's do an episode about the curse," but usually like I'll like turn to Ashley, I'll be like, "Oh, like let's do like an episode about this," and then we just get there and it just turns into some nonsense for like 45 minutes.
I mean, that's fine if we do this. I don't know like how much like thought I can coherently formulate about the curse.
I mean, what even was it about? Like,
Wait, hold on. Okay, you keep trying to steer the. What's the soundboard and why aren't you using it here?
oh, well, because I have it set up. I have our soundboard set up in like a different program, and my computer is from 2016 and will like crash if I try to open that and
Oh, well,
Zoom at the same time.
sucks that.
But the um the soundboard is just like we just have like stupid sound clips that we like got from just like I don't even know, like just different other shows, or like we like clip ourselves like saying something, or like some like a movie, like if we thought something was funny we'll like clip it, or like a podcast episode.
All right, well, I'll look forward to that next time.
And we yeah, we usually last episode, this newest episode, we didn't use it at all, but the we've been trying to use it. I'm actually gonna redo the soundboard with new effects. Yeah.
Okay, now I feel like so much pressure to like make a sound bite.
No, we don't have to we don't
But I
have to.
want it. I want the production value.
All right. Yeah. Well, I have that podcast, and then I also do another podcast, but it's not movie related. That's one I was just telling you about. The one I'm gonna redo, and I was talking
Right.
about like sci-fi stuff and aliens and ghosts, but then it's gonna be a little different when I
What
relaunch it.
what's fiction about that?
What do you
More like
mean?
just science. You said
Right.
sci-fi.
Well, actually, believe it or not, that my new relaunch of that is going to be, it's going to be scripted stuff where it's going to blend reality and fiction together, kind of like the X-Files, but like in radio form and podcast form.
Oh my God, that's so scary.
That's kind of my idea for
Kind of
that.
like how Nathan and Benny blend reality and fiction together.
Right. Yeah, that was a moment on the show. Actually, oh, speaking of, when I did my review of the Golden Globes, I said it was like an episode of The Curse because it just kept getting worse and worse and like more cringe.
Was it that bad? I only tuned in for like the second half of it, and
Yeah,
I just didn't like pay attention. I was like, who won? And then I was in the kitchen for the rest.
it wasn't even like the jokes, it was just like everything. The people like walking up to the stage, not knowing where to go, and like people like pointing. It was just a mess. It was really, and I was just like, this is like, I feel like I'm watching an episode of The Curse where it's just I'm cringing on the inside and inverting.
Can I be honest? Emma Stone was nominated for a Golden Globe for The Curse, and obviously that's well deserved, I think.
Right,
Um, I think that was the only category it should have been nominated for. Or sorry, that it was nominated. I was gonna
right,
say it should be nominated for more categories. Um, where's Nathan Fielder's nomination, Academy?
right.
You
Oh, do they
scared?
do the Golden Globes?
You
Does the
scared?
Academy?
I
Does
know,
the
I'm just like
Academy do
blaming
them?
them for fine. The board of like 95,000 journalists or whoever that does the Golden Globes. Like, you
Yeah.
scared? You scared of a little Nathan Fielder?
I mean, literally, he wasn't even there, I don't think. Wait, I didn't watch the Emmys, but did you watch the Emmys?
No, I didn't even know they happened. Like this
Oh,
year?
yeah, they just happened last night.
Whoops. Okay. Let's move on.
Well, I was gonna I mean, if you had watched it, I was gonna say, like, did anyone win from our show that we're talking about today?
Um, I don't know. I assume Succession won like literally every
Yeah,
category, which is
true,
deserved.
true.
By
Should
the
we do an
way,
episode on Succession when I'm
yeah,
finished with it? Because I
obviously,
haven't finished it.
like my entire inner monologue is just like one long podcast about Succession. So yes.
Um, well, do you want to get into the show, or should we just talk about
Yeah. Or should we
ourselves?
just keep delaying it? Before this starts, I feel like we should establish a safe word for this podcast in case, like things get rough.
What do you mean rough though? Like, what does that mean?
Like this is just really scary. And
Well,
I,
what's your what? Yeah, wait, didn't I text you what the safe word should be last night?
You you said like Rodrigo or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking like Rami Malek.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, you know, we just can't review any Rami Malek works.
I mean, we shouldn't anyway because they are mostly bad besides Mr. Robot.
Rami Malek is a good actor, but yeah, as soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, Mr. Robot and um you probably haven't heard of this. It's a video game. It's called Until Dawn, which by the way, I'm just gonna go on this brief tangent. Um it's basically an interactive horror movie where you play as like a bunch of characters and you make decisions on their behalf. Um
Right.
and that determines who like lives or dies. And Rami Malek is in that game and he's so unhinged.
I didn't even know that existed.
It's I was just playing it last night actually for like the fifth time with because my friend is playing it for the first time and I'm just like, are you gonna go talk to the little voice in the cave or are you gonna pick up
Right.
the chainsaw or whatever? Um, no, it's fun and Rami Malek is great in that. So that's two good roles he's had in his defense.
Right. Okay, well, we'll use him as a safe word, I guess. You
I
know?
feel like people, if there's anyone listening to this at all, period, but without any context, are just like, I feel like we should just like not establish why we need the safe word.
I'm gonna I think I'm gonna post this on my well, yeah, I think I'm gonna post it like the audio. We're gonna have like its own. It's gonna have its own page, but for YouTube, I'm gonna put it on the Nefarious Things page. I just want all of the podcasts that I do to just be uploaded on there,
Okay,
and then we'll like separate it into like playlists for like each pod. You know,
okay, yeah, whatever.
it has 60 followers on there. Maybe
Really,
someone will watch it. You know.
I want to know if there's gonna be like a single person who gets like all the way to the end.
Actually, yeah, if anyone's watching this, comment down below on YouTube if you watch this to the end.
Be like hashtag I made it, hashtag I lived, hashtag final girl, all that good stuff.
Should that just be the title of the episode? Hashtag I made it.
Yeah.
Or we haven't even gotten to the show barely.
Well, we kind of already have. I don't know. Okay, sorry, I'm just
What?
like
Okay,
bracing
wait.
myself for this. Like it's no one says how like in the line of duty podcasting is. Like forget military wife, like podcast wife. They deserve discounts.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Well, The Curse. What do you think it's even about? Like, what is like the plot of the show?
Do you want me to like actually summarize it or do you want me to be like, what does it mean?
Well, like I mean, I get like what I guess like what's it about? Like what's the whole like premise of the show? Because I feel like it changes.
The whole premise of this show on a literal level is two white people. Sorry, the race has to be said. Yeah, I feel like it's very relevant.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, true, it is.
so yeah, on a literal level, it's Nathan Fielder and Emma Stone are playing like a couple. They want their own reality HGTV like show.
Right.
I can't tell if it's like parodying a specific one or not, but there is like there's a few HGTV shows where they're like, we're gonna go into this
Yeah.
like downtrodden community and we're gonna fix it up like one block at a time, and it's just them like going down the block like fixing houses, but. Um, I don't know. I feel like it remained like kind of ambiguous to not like fire shots at any specific thing.
Yeah, true.
It was kind of
Um,
just parodying the idea of it.
I when I heard Benny Safdie talk about this, he said he did say it wasn't like any specific one. He wasn't when they were writing it, they didn't go into it like with any specific one in mind, but he just like had like the idea of HGTV like that style to like
Yeah.
make it. And I
Yeah.
think it's a good idea, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that was just a vessel. I think what they're really tearing down is the idea of just reality TV in general and like
Yeah,
how people can be performative for the sake of it.
true.
I think that was the last line of the entire show was like, was that for TV? And then the guy was like, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, true, true.
It's so good.
And it seems like there was like elements of like they were like trying to capture like their weird life. Like the Dougie character wanted more of like the drama elements, and then like you had like the studio who was like, let's like keep it clean and no, we just want them to like portray them as like in love. But like the Dougie character was like a almost like a representation of how real life studios in real life how they are, just like they want that like drama element, like because like if you watch like a real HGTV show, they literally will go into like their like random crazy backstories of like the families, and this
Mhm.
is like what the, why, what's going on here, like why are they now just like getting a divorce?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, Benny's the reality TV producer. I think he was Nathan
Mhm.
Fielder's like childhood friend or something.
Yeah,
And then like it kind of go as the show kind of goes along, we realize like there's kind of a lot of unspoken said between the two of those characters, and like,
true.
like, I think Dougie is probably the worst out of the characters, which is saying a lot. And I don't
Wait,
think there's like a scale of like this one's bad out of 10, this one's bad out of
right.
7, you know what I mean? But like Dougie, his entire purpose was to just like disrupt their relationship, basically.
Yeah, true, true. And I think he was like trying to get like the drama elements, but it still was like pretty shitty to do.
I mean, I think he was so like devoid of his own personal life, like
Yeah,
he is an alcoholic. I think he
true.
killed his like was it a fiance or like wife or girlfriend or
Ye-
whatever.
yeah, like in
Um,
a DUI.
Yeah, and then he still drives around drunk in the show. We
Yeah.
see like at least once, which
Yeah,
is
I was like literally cringing like half, like there was multiple times where he did that and I was like, "Oh my God, they're gonna like end the show with like some crazy thing like that."
yeah, he's just after like in theory, he wants to make a good show.
Right.
Like what good means to him is like basically drama, and then eventually as the
Mhm.
show goes on, like I feel like his his hatred of Nathan Fielder, his character kind of like builds up,
Right.
and like he's just out to make him look terrible, like on in public, like as a spectacle.
Yeah. And I think that like comes to a head like at the end, like in the finale, because then he just like breaks down crying at the end,
Yeah,
and I think he like kind of realized like the severity of like what he was doing, like the actions.
I think the curse is each of them to themselves. Like I've seen a lot of like speculation because like after every episode I go on Reddit and be like, "Ooh, what's this about?" And like
Right.
um and a lot of people are like, "Oh, the curse is like Nathan Fielder," like they have like very specific ideas of what it is. I
Mhm.
think the curse is just like they're all their own undoing,
True.
and I think Benny realized like, "Oh, cool, like I just killed like the second person I loved in my life because I'm a terrible person."
Yeah, literally. Um, and I think that like I definitely think that the curse was like them, I don't know. It was, oh, and it was almost like a rep, especially in the finale. It was like definitely like a representation of like Nathan Fielder's like his like relationship with what's her face,
Emma
Emma Stone, but
Stone.
it's Whitney and Asher in the show.
Yeah, which by the way, when I say the actor's name, I mean the character. I don't mean like them specifically. Um, yeah, the finale is really all I can think about when I think back on this show. Like I think it dwarfed everything that came before it by being just
Right.
so unique and like so like out of nowhere, and like supernatural elements were definitely hinted at, like,
Yeah,
because they literally mention a curse since episode one, where there's a girl in the parking lot where Nathan Fielder hands her $100
true.
performatively on camera to be like, look, I'm being nice to the community. Then off camera, he goes and asks for it back, and she's like, I curse you, which like in universe is apparently like a TikTok trend, and then like
Right.
I don't know, that girl's dad, as we meet him later, he like tells him not to talk about it all, which I think is meant to make us think like maybe there's more to it, and he's just trying to like reduce it to a TikTok trend.
Right. True.
So there's that going on as well, but like, so there's like hints of supernatural, but the last episode is like fully like a supernatural happening, and
Yeah.
no one in the universe knows how to
Unhinged.
respond to it.
I mean, it was literally because like when you were like, this is like the most unhinged episode that I've like ever seen, I was like, okay, well, and then it just like starts out, and then I'm like, why is he like on the ceiling? Oh, I guess spoilers, but why is he like on the ceiling? And then I was like, oh, is
Yeah.
this just gonna be like a dream or something stupid, you know?
Well, nope. Nope, it's real. I think,
Do you,
okay, what were you gonna say?
what were you gonna say?
I was like, if you look back at the entire show, I'm realizing this now, like the girl curses him, Benny Safdie curses him, Emma
Right,
Stone doesn't curse him, but she clearly wants him gone.
right.
I would say there's probably more like Kara. She's more focused on Emma Stone, but like I'm sure at some point she wanted Asher gone too. Um, and I'm guessing like the entire community just wanted them gone, and like it
True.
manifested on Asher for whatever reason. And like, was it a little curse? Was it an artistic representation of what happened? But either way, like they wanted him gone, and like finally, the laws of physics were like, all right, we're getting rid of him.
Yeah, true. It
He's
was
gotta go.
it was wild. Um, they were saying, well, the girl that plays Kara, the actress, they were talking about how when they went into the writing certain scenes for her, a lot of it ended up being like improvised, like when they were doing like the script reading, and it was because like they didn't know exactly where they wanted it to go, and then when she was just like improvising it, they were like, all right, we're just gonna keep this in. And then the example they gave was when they were in the when she was doing her art piece where they were like cutting meat, and then she was just screaming, and
Yeah.
she just apparently did that like in the room, like when they were doing the script, she just like screamed, and then there was no explanation. She was just did that, and then they were like, we're just gonna keep that in without any explanation.
I mean, she explained the art piece like a few episodes later, I think.
Right.
But I do like how unexplained and bizarre that was at the time.
I mean, literally. Like, what the heck?
Yeah. So I don't know, like what was your favorite part of the show? Like a year from now when you look back on it, what are you gonna take away from it?
um I like, well, to be honest, I like the fact that it literally like sparked more interest in Emma Stone for me because like I didn't, like I was telling you the other day, I don't really, before, I mean, I liked her in The Favorite, but like before really seeing her in this, I didn't really jive with her
Insane
acting.
opinion, by the way.
I guess it's an unpopular opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, she's been nominated for like every award like 20,000 times for like every
but
role.
but I don't know. I liked her in this. I liked how she like played off the awkwardness with Nathan Fielder's character. And I feel like she like really embodied the role perfectly,
I
you know?
think examining those two characters, like obviously like the both the actors come from such different places and like
Yeah,
different
true.
artworks. Like Emma Stone is like, she's a tried and true actress, like that's what she does. Like this is kind of a role that I would expect for her.
Right.
Nathan Fielder, no. This is his first like straightforward acting role, I feel. That
True.
wasn't at least like partially like, acting and like shit stirring. It was like him reading off a script. you know?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
and he was really good. Like his monologue at the end of episode 9, like literally when he's on the bed and he's like swearing his life and he's
yeah.
basically saying, "I'm not a person. I exist to support you, Emma Stone."
Yeah,
First
that
of
was
all,
that was
same.
unhinged. Let's just talk about that.
Like first of all, same. Second of all,
Like,
he literally looked like a wolf. Like that's what the
yeah.
image reminded me of. He was like a wolf, like towering over like a little girl who was like terrified and cornered in the bed. It was
Yeah,
like
we
the
were
big
like
bad wolf.
we like looked at each other and we were like, okay, that was creepy.
He was so good in it, and I don't even know. I'm very curious to know like what went into filming that last episode because he's, like upside down for most of
Yeah,
it, and he must have done such acrobatics to do that.
yeah, I was talking to Ashley about that while we were watching it because I was like, do you think they was like on wires? Like what's like how did they possibly do that? But I was thinking they might have literally like put literally like taken a take of that where they had Emma Stone like just on the normal ground and then built the set upside down and then had him do it
Yeah,
like upside down and then just like composited him in there.
I could definitely see that too. Either way, like it was so creative and it looked
Yeah,
seamless. Like
true.
I have no idea what went into it. I hope they released like a documentary about it or something.
Because like I was like trying to like pay attention to I actually like watch a lot of content about like VFX and practical effects and people like breaking it down like frame by frame and I was trying to like really pay attention to see if he was like on wires and I couldn't see anything like even like a tug of the shirt or anything I couldn't see anything if that's why I was like maybe he was literally they just like built the set upside down and just had him do it
Yeah.
like that because that's also insane that they would do something like that.
Yeah, and like either way, like insane physical acting for whatever they pulled off.
True.
It looked so real, and then insane acting because Nathan Fielder was
Yeah.
so good in this.
And actually, I didn't really, I haven't really even seen Nathan for You or the rehearsal, so I
Really?
didn't know what
Oh my
we were
God,
gonna
that's
be getting
so
into.
scary for you.
I didn't know like I like the Safdie brothers, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to watch it. And
Wait, so what did you know about Nathan Fielder before this?
well, I know that he has like a crit, like he does like cringe comedy shows, like they're more like cringe style. So I figured that's what he would bring to the table, but I didn't realize I didn't know. I mean, I'm with you. I didn't realize he would like pull off any like good acting, but it
It
surprised
literally
me
like
that.
I'm getting chills because I'm in right now in this moment realizing that someone could watch this show without having seen Nathan for you. And the rehearsal, like it didn't even like occur to me because Nathan Fielder is just one of those artists that like I will like they release something and I watch it like like I'll pay whatever I need to see it. Um,
Yeah, true.
he's just like in that upper tier for me with like I don't know a few others, but yeah, Nathan for You is just entirely about like he graduated business school with really good grades and then it's like a C plus like it shows his report card.
Right.
That's like a bit that he says, and then like he goes to businesses that are struggling and like basically trolls them. He engineers like the most awkward situations possible that like basically like take advantage of like loopholes in the law, and
Right.
they're meant to like just create awkward situations that like the business owners and whoever else like has to just deal with and navigate. And then like technically at the end that business will somehow benefit from it. Um,
Right.
like let me know if I'm talking too much about it, but my favorite bit is like he goes to a gas station that's like struggling and he comes up with this plan where he's like, let's give them a rebate. Like if they buy gas here, they can get a rebate. And then you read like the terms and conditions, which are in super small print on the back of your receipt, and it's like you need to climb this mountain to claim this rebate. And like it's like a legitimately difficult mountain to hike. And
Right.
so he literally like 20 people or something are like, we're climbing this mountain. And they like embark on this journey. and he makes it so hard because like they have to like solve riddles and they have to like go for hours to this mountain and literally only
Right.
three make it to the end and he says they have to camp overnight and then they do and then like they bond and become best friends and then at the end he tells them like this was fake, can you guys please leave? And then
Right.
literally they walk away, they were like, well, you know what, we got the true prize, which was friendship.
I I I don't know if I like I don't know why I didn't watch that show because I feel like I like the cringe style comedy. Like the Nathan Fielder cringe style
It
comedy, you
literally it
know?
does not get better than that then. You need to watch the show. Like this is peak.
Well, I think Ashley wanted to watch the rehearsal next, so maybe we'll just have to dive into Nathan for you first.
Yeah, I would recommend because rehearsal is kind of an evolution, Nathan for you. So I'd recommend Nathan for you then the rehearsal, but like you're gonna enjoy them either way.
Right. Well, I and you know what else is cringe, by the way? Um, like it's kind of funny though. Uh, well, the Safdie brothers, they did a for Uncut Gems, they did a stop like they shot this like Q&A for the movie that they put into like the Criterion version where they and it's on YouTube now, that's where we watched it, but it's honestly like shot like it's literally shot like an episode of The Curse where like they hid like cameras around, and I guess Adam Sandler didn't want to do any more Q&As about Uncut Gems, and they literally tricked him into doing one by setting up all these like microphones and cameras like hidden around, and
Hmm.
they shot it from like far away, and then they had him like come into like a restaurant, and like the waitress was like a fan, but she was just like an actress they hired. And then Jason Bateman randomly shows up to try to sell. They were the waitress and Jason Bateman were asking Adam Sandler questions about the movie as like the Q&A.
Wait, so this is all just for promo?
Yeah, I guess they had no but he had no idea of them like doing it at first, and then he storms out and like comes back. It's like kind of awkward.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that's definitely something like Nathan would do. So it's insane we live in the time where these two met up and created like this insane show.
Yeah, true. They Benny Safdie said they started trying to make the show in 2018,
Yeah.
and it started like evolving into something else entirely because like they started out like doing they literally he said he was literally supposed to be like a spoof style of like HGTV, and then it
That's what I
turned into
thought it was.
something completely different as like they were filming it, and they were like, well, let's just do this.
Wow. I'm glad I kind of still want to see the spoof version, but
Right.
this is probably better and like has more meaning than that one ever
True.
would have.
They
Um,
said they like lived like they basically lived there for months like in the town,
yeah.
just like and they used like their lived experiences and like things that they were learning like to try to like make it more authentic for the show.
So yeah, that's so interesting. And like I'm glad it came after the rehearsal, which was I think
Right.
like 2 years ago or something, because I feel like Nathan for you, the rehearsal, this is like such an evolution of like his arc and his artistry. Like
True.
it's been so fun to like see him grow, even though I don't know. He's definitely become like is fully a fully fledged artist, and a lot of the themes from Nathan for you and like particularly the rehearsal, I think really distilled themselves in his character Asher. Um,
Right.
I think there's just so much in both of those shows. There's so much obsession with how you're perceived.
True.
Um, and like the rehearsal, like long story short, just to summarize that in like two sentences, it's like he's helping people prepare for real life conversations in their life by scripting out every possible scenario about how it can unfold, and
Right.
then like creating sets, like
I'm
hiring
surprised that's like
actors.
still not on, you
What do
know?
you mean? Well, it was one season.
It was just one season. Like I'm surprised like it didn't have like more seasons, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think like once you watch it, I think it makes sense.
Right.
Um, But yeah, so like the entire thing, like Nathan, I feel like Nathan put a lot of his own experiences into the character of Asher,
True.
um, just from making the rehearsal, and it's like this obsession with how you're perceived, and then even Nathan for you, like Nathan ends up like playing characters that are like supposed to be like useless, for example, like can't do anything,
Right.
like it's like he acknowledges a lot of ugliness and just brings it into Asher. And like that monologue at the end of episode 9 where he's like, I'm not a real person, like you're all I have, like I just want to exist
Right.
to support you. It just feels like a culmination of like watching his work for like at least a decade at this point. Um
Right.
and
I
he,
mean,
he just
I think we should definitely check that out.
yeah.
Maybe we can do like an episode on like the rehearsal or something once I
Yeah, we
finish
should.
that.
um the rehearsal, it's also hilarious too, by the way, like that show is so funny. um But yeah, and then Emma Stone, I feel like her character really personifies that like I need to perform aspect. I feel like maybe one
Right.
of the huge differences between the two of them is Emma Stone never quite grasps like how shitty of a person she is, whereas Asher is almost weighed down by it.
Yeah, true. She definitely doesn't really. Does she ever realize that?
I doubt it. I mean, she gets her way in the end. She gets what she wants in the end, so I feel like she never
True.
learns her lesson.
And she was like pretty much horrible to like everyone.
Yeah, I mean, she was
Horrible.
performative. She was like, God, her relationship with Asher wasn't real, and it was just for the cameras because
Yeah.
they make a point or something in the show that it's like, yeah, like HD, like people want to watch shows with like a couple or something like that, and that's why
Yeah.
they were so obsessed with like finding that fake couple and putting them together in the show.
True.
Um, you
That
know,
was wild.
and she was kind of like stuck to Asher, I think.
Yeah. And it was like clear that they probably shouldn't have been together. Also, the one of the reasons we even checked out The Curse, by the way, was everyone when the first episode came out was talking about the weird sex scene in the first episode and how
Oh,
insane it is. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we'll have to watch that. And
that's
it
what
was
drew you in?
literally that, yeah, because like, well, people were saying that it was like supposed to rival Poor Things, like her performance in that with all the sex,
Oh, I didn't know that was.
like cringe worthy, by the way.
Can we say sex in this podcast, or is it like a
Yeah,
G
well,
rating?
yeah. G rated.
Okay.
It's for
Um,
little kids, actually. No, I'm just kidding.
Rami Malek. No, I'm just kidding.
But that is like, it was like, I don't know, we watched like a couple of like review YouTubers and they were talking about it, and they were like, this is like one of like the most cringe things you guys will like ever watch. And then we were like, I guess we'll have to check it out.
And then it probably was.
Yeah, we were like,
Like,
I
yeah,
don't
it's
know.
really cringe.
And I didn't think it could top that moment. And then it just kept progressively getting like more like it would, you can tell they like made it to like have like the audience like have like a feeling while watching it, you know? Even if it wasn't like even in like the episodes where like the storyline isn't as strong, I guess, or like the plot isn't as strong in some of the episodes, like they still like made sure that the vibe what like where you have like the feeling inside of your gut, the cringe feeling was there.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was so cringy. It was so like cerebral. Um,
True.
okay,
It felt
favorite
like a
cringe
fever
moment.
dream.
Okay, favorite cringe moment of the show. I
I don't
have
even
one.
know. You have one?
The improv, or not improv comedy, but like the business comedy class at the end of that episode where they're all going around and like making a funny noise.
Right.
And then Nathan Fielder made that. like terrifying, like it jumped out of my seat noise. Which, by the way, I'm now wondering in retrospect, was that a baby cry?
I mean,
Be-
maybe.
Well, do you know what I mean by that? Because
What do you mean?
the reincarnation.
Right.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, we'll explain it for the audience viewers.
And for you? Question mark. Um, no, I think my theory about episode 10 is that it's pretty clear that Nathan Fielder was reincarnated into the baby
Right. True. I
because
mean, that's pretty crazy.
he
It's a pretty
flew
crazy
he
theory.
flew out as soon as the baby was born, and like just the way that it was shot, like it showed like his legs upside down in the air, and then it showed like the baby being lifted outside of Emma Stone. Um,
Right.
as soon as they cut the tree branch that he was hanging on to, that was when they cut into Emma Stone to like give her the C-section.
Right. I didn't even think about that, to be honest.
Also, the doula
That's
shows up at
insane.
the house. The doula shows up at the house. Who pulls Nathan Fielder out of the literal house? The doula pulls him out like a bird.
Right. That's insane.
And then
Okay, spoilers. I'm just
there's a lot of I mean like retrospectively there's a lot of actually building up to it where it's like Emma
yeah.
Stone would make baby noises at Nathan Fielder to like mock him.
Right.
He always referred to it as a baby dick.
Right.
Um,
I honestly did not like think of that as a theory, but that does make a lot of sense because it,
mind equal blown.
yeah, that is
Sorry.
wild. I mean that is pretty nuts. Like if they did intend to like send that message, that is wild if they did.
Oh, I'm so positive they intended to send it. Like, just watch the last episode again. It's abundantly clear.
Wow.
That's why I like the show. It's, I don't know. There's so many different levels of appreciation that you
True.
can have
There's
for
a
it.
lot of like nuance, I feel like in even like smaller things.
And what I think like why it's so difficult to have a conversation about it is because you can interpret it so many different ways. And
True.
like, just having this one kind of overarching discussion feels like a disservice because I feel like we can go into each episode and be like, okay, like when this character did this, like subtle glance to the screen, it
Right.
telegraphs like all of this information that like you can unpack, whatever. Like it really can be analyzed on so many different levels.
Um, I definitely agree. And can we talk about the freaking Sopranos crossover at
Okay.
the last episode?
Okay. Tell me.
Like the beginning of it where they just have fucking Vincent Pastore doing Rachel Ray.
Oh yeah, yeah. I completely forgot about that.
Because I was like, what the fuck? But like we love the Sopranos, and we were like, and I swear to God, when we started that episode, I literally was like, did I accidentally turn on something else? And then I saw them like on the screen in the background, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That
Because it's
makes
like
sense.
5 minutes of just a Rachel Ray show, basically, and then
Yeah, I was literally like, are we watching the right thing?
yeah. No, the show it was so like esoteric. It was so like so good.
True.
Um one of my new favorite Emma Stone roles, and again, like her character is so like hideous, and I love that she never has to reckon with that because I feel like that is how it would go in real life. Is like a person of privilege like her can go their
Right.
entire life without realizing.
Do you think there will be a sequel, a season two?
I doubt it. This like how do you
Right.
continue this story? Like that's the story.
Well, if he's gonna be reincarnated, you technically could.
I mean, like what a baby.
We'll build like a universe. I don't know. I'm just saying. I was just
If it's an
floating the
anthology,
idea.
I would be down for like an anthology kind of thing, like
Oh,
Benny's
that would be
next
cool.
reality show. No, um,
Right.
I don't know. I think like the arcs of the three main characters are like definitively over.
True.
I kind of like I don't want to see more of them because I feel like it can't go up. It can only get worse.
True. True. Like, I mean, yeah, well, they could do the anthology series. Did you know that they actually built those like houses like in the town?
Oh God.
Like
Hopefully they
the
weren't as terrible as they were in the show.
like the glass mirrored houses. They said the way Benny Safdie explained it was that it sounded like they took regular people's houses and like rented them and then just like built the structure like around it. But
Okay.
they built three of them like in the town specifically so they could like walk to each of them.
Yeah. Well, they probably just put like the mirror coating on the outside, I assume.
Right. And they also said that that idea is like a real artist like made like a smaller version of like one of those houses, and they thought it would be a funny I it would be like part of Emma Stone's character to steal that artist's idea and
Yeah.
make it her own.
Well, they address that. That's an actual plot point in the show.
Yeah.
And
And
even that, it's like it never comes to a conclusion. It never like is fully on addressed, but like she
true.
mentions in passing, like, "Oh, this artist thinks I stole it. Like, isn't that so funny or whatever?" And then like it's just
Right.
never like we as an audience are left to infer, like, yeah, she probably stole it based on everything else.
He Benny Safdie said it was like 6 months of like the houses there, and like he was like, we're thanking the people who lived around them that had to deal with the fucking mirrored houses.
I bet. I mean,
Because he was
that's
like,
kind
they're
of
not good in practice like at all.
yeah. Yeah, like what else is there to say about it that we haven't yet? I feel like I've said like a fraction of things that I think about the show, but like I've said so much and like I don't know, I can't like think of anything else.
Yeah. I like the idea that they were like talking about the gentrification part and like really like analyzing, I don't know, like capitalistic or like post-capitalistic views, and like subtly but like kind of still mentioning them, and just like the way that they're kind of coming in there and like taking over the town. Benny Safdie mentioned that when he watched one of the reasons why one of the reasons why he wanted to make the show is because he watched an HGTV show, one of them, and at the end of it they were like, you should you can change your town too. And he was like, what the hell does that even mean? And so he kind of like took that and like ran with it, I guess. And I think that's
Yeah.
like a cool idea of like yeah, like what do they mean? Like what do you mean you can like change like a town by like having like a reality TV show like build a house, come and like build your house for you, you know?
Yeah, just say what it is. Build your dream house. Don't
Yeah.
say like elevate your community because it's not for them. It's just not for
Yeah,
them.
true.
That's a
Yeah,
very
exactly.
that's something that it would have been in the curse. If I were so like here, okay, so here's my actual thesis statement. I think that this show is
Thesis.
about a bad relationship, but it's represented in like every single like aspect you can think of, like mental, emotional, physical, but also like metaphysical, like on a geographical sense with the gentrification, on
Right.
like a metaphysical sense with like him losing his sense of like, well, not his sense of gravity, gravity around him. You know, like like supernatural. That could also be like supernatural,
True.
you know, and I think like everything that these two people do, Asher and Whitney, it's like because they're so bad at their core, they're just kind of spreading their rod around and like they're doing
Right.
it like in the name of like helping. And like I think on the surface, maybe like Whitney knows like or she thinks that she's helping and like maybe deep down, like actually I don't know if there's any introspection there. But what she wants to get rid of Asher and like for whatever reason she can't. She
Right.
feels that she can't. She feels that she needs him for the show. She feels like she's stuck to him. And that is like, you know, the crux of the entire show.
True.
And like I
And then
think,
it's just like
yeah,
the HGTV thing is like kind of like the backdrop of that storyline, right?
it's how they tell the show. Yeah.
Yeah, true. And I like I like one of the things I really do like about this, and you can like really see it in the production, is like the way that they shot it. And they shot it like, I'm from what I know, they shot the most of the show like that you see of like the characters just living their lives on digital cameras
Mm,
and like digital video cameras to get like a grainy, noisy feel. And they wanted that specifically because it would be different. They wanted it to feel like you have never seen something like this on TV before,
yeah.
and which we haven't. But then when it cuts to like a HGTV show, like their actual show that they're making inside of the show, it's like clean cut. It like the colors are like really saturated. They filmed that in like a 4K camera or something, like
Oh,
what we come to know as like a regular show.
yeah.
And
Damn.
I like the contrast between that.
Yeah, I never would have noticed that. That's
But
really cool.
I like it definitely like feels that way when you're watching it.
Yeah, I agree. That's cool.
Well, what did everyone think of this first episode, you know?
You guys, speak up. Can't hear you. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we
Okay.
are the former critics, you know.
Hashtag I made it. Be sure to comment it down below.
Bye.
Bye.